calendars and bullet journals, art projects, organized planner chic.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to Organized Planner Chic. I'm Lucinda, and if you haven't subscribed already, please do so. Please do so and select the bell for notifications. Well, first, I want to thank all my Patreon members who help make it possible to create videos like this. Well, thank you guys so much. And if you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, just go to patreon.com/organizedplannerchic. Okay, you guys, today we're going to talk about why goals fail. And there are 5 reasons I'm going to share today. All right, so let's get to it. All right, so the first thing that can cause goals to fail is focusing on too many things. So I know in today's society it's very fast-paced. We are expected to do a lot of things in a short amount of time, and so there's the belief out there that multitasking is a great thing, and I want to challenge that belief. So while you may be able to do several things at one time fairly efficiently, you may feel like you can even do them pretty well, but I would venture to say that you can't do multiple things at one time with excellence. And so the more things that you're trying to focus on at one time, the less successful you will be in fully attaining that goal, whatever it may be. So I want to encourage you to really limit your areas of focus to between 1 and 3 things. Yes, you have to choose. That doesn't mean that you can't do other things, that you can't have other things that you get done in your life, but these are the things that are going to have the primary focus, that are really going to consume your time and energy. And 3 should be the absolute maximum. So if you really take the time, which I encourage you to do, to look at your life and think about what it would take to accomplish, let's say, 2 things, you might find that you don't have room for the 3rd thing. And depending on what you need to do, you may only be able to focus in that one area, not thing, but that one area, because it just will take a lot from you and you really want to get it done in that year. So you may be asking, Lucinda, what 2 areas or 3 areas are you going to be focusing on? So it's me as a person really focusing on me spiritually and emotionally, and that'll make more sense as we talk about a little bit more going forward. And then the other area is my business. Okay, the second thing that can interfere with accomplishing your goal is focusing too much on the short term. What I mean is, in order to accomplish something that you want to be in, let's say, or get done in the next 5, 10, 15, 20 years, that doesn't happen overnight. It's steps that you take years ago to get to that point. So for example, we see people on television, movie stars, we see musical artists, and one day no one's heard of them, and the next day they're like winning a Grammy, or they're performing on a show and someone says, oh, they're an overnight success, or there's an article that says they're an overnight success. And I'm telling you, no one is successful overnight, 99% of the time. So I know with YouTube, sometimes people can be discovered and it's a blessing, and all of a sudden, you know, they were singing in the shower and now they're performing somewhere on stage in front of a million people. But 99% of the time, that is not the case. They have been singing and performing, singing for free since they were 5 or 6 years old. They've been living out of their car. They've been eating out of cans, whatever. Lots of different stories of people who have been spending all these years of their life working toward this goal, and that has been their focus. And so when you set your goals for 2020, think about why. Let's say you have this goal to something as simple as, I want to go to Europe. Why do you want to go to Europe? What impact does that have on the future of your life? Why do you want to do that? And while you're thinking about that, also ask yourself, is this my goal, or is this something that I feel like I should have as a goal, or that seems to be a popular goal out there, something that everyone else seems to want to do, I should want to do it too. So you want to think about, where do you see yourself in the future? How does this goal contribute to your life as a whole? And so that's where vision statements come in, all right? So your vision statement is saying, in this area that I'm focusing in, what do I want it to be where I feel like I've arrived? I have done everything, I have gotten to this point, and when I'm there, this is what it looks like. And so when you look at your vision for 5, 10, 15, 20 years in the future, you've got to do things to get to that point. And all the things that you do in the years leading up to that point need to contribute to that in some way. Otherwise, you wake up those years in the future wishing you had done some things so that you could be at that point, and you're not regretting and feeling like you've wasted areas in your life that you could have really benefited from and that others could have benefited from. So now what I'm going to do is show you what I wrote down for my vision statement for the 2 areas of my life that I'm focusing on. Okay, so for my personal vision is placing nothing and no one above the Blessed Trinity, surrendering my will to God in all things, doing every task to the glory of the Lord, serving others with love and patience, and inviting the lost to call upon the name of Jesus. So obviously, this sounds like a perfect person. And that is a lifelong pursuit. And so that is the vision. Again, it's something that is far into the future that you're working toward. That's who I want to try to be in Christ. And then when I am in heaven, then I will be that person. Okay, and then my business vision is providing complete paper planning solutions for artistic and minimalist planners, allowing for the setting, tracking, and reaching of goals, encouraging creative expression for anxiety relief, resulting in clarity of purpose, focus, and direction. So obviously my business is not there, but that is where I want it to be. Now, I may one day in my lifetime have achieved all of these things for my business. And if that happens, then it's time to write a new vision that stretches me further. But in the meantime, I need to be working toward that vision. So like providing complete paper planning means everything that a person needs with the type of planners that I provide, that they can get that from my business. And that's going to take time to get to that place, especially since I want to be able to do it for artistic and minimalist planners. So allowing for the setting, tracking, and reaching of goals is something I can be doing in the short term, encouraging creative expression for anxiety relief, and I'll focus on that as time goes by over the years and throughout my videos, and resulting in clarity of purpose, focus, and direction. So the end result, when the vision comes into fruition, is people will be able to say, through Organized Planner Chic or through the help of Organized Planner Chic, I was able to achieve clarity of purpose, focus, and direction for my life, for example. Okay, now that we have a big picture view, what the vision is, we can't stop there, because just writing it down or just saying this is where I want this area of my life to be 5 or 10 years from now, that doesn't make it happen. And that's where a mission statement can come in. And the mission statement says, in order to reach this vision point, what do I need to be doing this year? And this isn't like day-to-day tasks, but this is just like a general statement that says, I'm going to focus on this in order for my vision to one day be fulfilled. So I'm going to show you what my mission statement is in the 2 areas of my life that I'm focusing on. For my personal, with my spiritual and emotional health, is helping trauma victims become free of guilt and shame, and serving my family, friends, church, and neighbors with the love of Christ. My personal mission is to provide paper planning solutions for creative expression and the setting, tracking, and reaching of goals. Okay, next, I also would encourage you to have a slogan for each of those areas. And a slogan is a simple phrase that you can remember, that you can say to yourself every day. You can write it in your journal, you can put it on your phone, you can put it up on the wall. And it is a phrase to encourage you to focus on those areas of your life that you're trying to reach goals in this year. And slogans are really, really powerful. You know, they're all over television, they're all over the radio. You remember things about your favorite drink, about your favorite brand because of that slogan. You hear that slogan, you think about that product. So if you hear your slogan that you have for the areas that you're focusing on, then you're reminded to check on those things, to be working toward those things, and to be tracking them. So my slogan for my personal or spiritual and emotional goals is trusting in Jesus one day at a time. And the reason why I chose that statement is I feel like if I'm trusting in Jesus and I'm letting his grace be new, his mercies be new every morning, then I can be the person that I'm supposed to be in Christ. And so that reminds me, hey, trust God. Don't worry. He's got this covered. You are loved. You are forgiven. All those different things. And then my business one is helping you reach your goals through paper planning. Because that is ultimately why I'm in this business, is I want to help people reach their goals. I want their lives to help them make their lives different in whatever way positive they want. That doesn't mean every person who I'm helping life is in a shambles. No, but we can all grow. We can all improve, and we can all set and reach goals. So then the next thing is going to be, what are those activities that you're going to do to actually fulfill your mission for the year and your vision for the future? So again, we've got this big vision of where we want to be when we have arrived at the climax of this thing we're working on in our lives. And then we've got the mission that narrows it down to what can I do this year that gets me to that vision. And then our slogan reminds us, and then what are the activities that fulfill the mission? So again, I can't just say I'm going to do these things or do this thing this year. I've got to do some things that make that happen. So now I'm going to show you my list of things to fulfill my mission and eventually my vision. For my personal one, there's several different things that I do or want to continue to do or work on to be that person in Christ, and there's a list of them. I'm doing all of them, but the two that I've put an asterisk around are the ones that I really want to hone in on this year that need a lot of attention. So daily worship, daily prayer, and daily Bible study I'm doing already, but yoga is something I do but not consistently. So I put an asterisk to yoga, which I'm going to be tracking, and I'll show you. Breathing exercise I already do. Celebrate Recovery I do. My husband and I are leaders of Celebrate Recovery at our church, which is for anyone with a hurt, habit, hang up. It doesn't have to be chemical or anything like that, because mine is PTSD and I lead the PTSD group. But there are specific things that I want to accomplish that support my mission for this year with Celebrate Recovery. And then sponsoring for CR, I have two people that I sponsor. That's Celebrate Recovery. Accountability partners. Oh, I need to put that on there, an asterisk. Oops, sorry about the noise, because I haven't really set, I have a sponsor, but I haven't really set any people to hold me accountable in specific areas for 2020. So I need to do that. And I already lead worship. Okay, so then for my business, I have lots of different things, products that I already provide and some that I don't. So selling Traveler's Notebooks, I do right now. Selling Traveler's Notebook inserts, I do right now. I sell mixed media and sketch inserts, but I will need to also provide dot grid and blank calendars, because remember, what I want to do is help people to be able to set, track, and reach goals. So I want to add a dot grid this year. And I don't know if I will add a blank calendar this year. Probably not. So I'm just going to focus on 3 areas of new categories of products. So dot grid for this year. And then the next year, probably blank calendar. I sell tea and craft folders and I sell dashboards. I want to add printable bullet journal functional stickers with headers, calendars, and habit trackers this year. and I sell Fauxbonichi Weeks printable pages right now. In the future, I'll sell Fauxbonichi Weeks printable stickers that are functional, but this year I want to focus on selling Fauxbonichi Weeks complete product, which I have almost ready to provide. And then selling, I have the printable, and I've done prototypes, and I did gifts for my family for Christmas, but I need to do a couple other things to finish that. And so I sell right now artistic printable stickers. I already publish YouTube videos including everything above that I already do, and they will include the things that I'm going to do for this year. And I provide related products and services to Patreon members, and as these new products develop, I will add that as well. Okay, you guys, the third thing that can keep you from reaching your goals is not tracking them. You actually need to track your progress. So if you're more of an electronic person and you'd rather have something on your phone or some sort of notification, then do that. If you're a paper person or a kinetic learner and that's how you remember things, is writing it down, do that. For me, I need both sometimes. I track by writing down what I did, but I also sometimes need a reminder to do a certain thing that I'm trying to do, or to remember to review it, and then I'll put an alarm on my phone for that. I also encourage you to have an accountability partner if there is an area that you know you need a little bit more of a push. You want to be able to have someone who's on you to remind you and encourage you to keep pushing forward. So I'm going to show you how I'm tracking right now. Okay, so in my personal areas, I was focusing on Celebrate Recovery, accountability partners, which is the one I just discovered, so I haven't written out my tracking for that, and yoga. And so I have put here, do yoga 3 times a week. And so I've got the week number and then how many times I actually did it that week. So on my daily pages in my bullet journal, I am writing at the top of the header if I did yoga or bicycling that day. And then at the end of the week, I can put how many times I did yoga and how many times I did bicycling. And my intention is to do Monday, Wednesday, Friday yoga, Tuesday, Thursday bicycling, and then I'm set. And so I set up all 52 weeks. So it might take time to set that up initially, but it's all set up now. And then I have here for each month to mark the average. And then for spiritual, now these two things, financial and family, are just some things that we want to do that don't really require me to do any particular tracking right now, and there are things that my husband and I have to agree upon those steps together. So if you're doing goals with someone, make sure you are on the same page and that you guys are setting those steps together. But for me personally, with my spiritual things, remember I said CR, so even though I've completed all the Celebrate Recovery steps, there's a new set that you can do, an advanced step that's out now, or set of steps that are out now, and my sponsor and I said we would like to do those together. So right now it's a goal that we're going to do, and then she and I will get together and talk about how we want to meet, and then I'll track that on my monthly and daily pages here in my bullet journal. And then share my testimony at Celebrate Recovery. So I want to do that this month. I'm going to be reading over the requirements for how it's supposed to be set up with Celebrate Recovery, and then I'll break that down into the different months and set the date that I want to do it at Celebrate Recovery. And then present a CR lesson, a Celebrate Recovery lesson. I am already scheduled to do that here in the month of January, and so I think it's the 17th. So here in these few weeks, I'm going to break down what I want to get done and practiced on in time for that date. Okay, now here on the right side are for my business goals. Now these are actually my social media, my Patreon numbers that I want to reach, my Etsy sales numbers I want to reach, and my social media and YouTube and all of that. Now the products that I talked about that I need to bring out here on the page, dot grid, headers, the printable stickers for bullet journals and the full Fauxbonichi Weeks, I'm going to set those up on a calendar, and I'm going to meet with my accountability partner that I'm going to establish this week about which ones I should work on first and how I want to prioritize that so that I can set a timeline to get that done and be held accountable so that I don't lose my way. And in order to reach good sales and reach a good number of people with those products and services and do the things that are mentioned on my mission statement, I need to be out there, and I need to be putting myself out there and posting things on these different areas of social media and Patreon and YouTube. Okay, you guys, the fourth thing is setting your expectations too high. Okay, so yes, we want to stretch ourselves and do things that really push us, encourage us to grow and to be better people. But we still are human beings, and we can only do so much, and we can never reach perfection, but we can reach excellence. So try to really think about yourself and what your life is like, what all you have going on, what can interfere with reaching your goals. Just kind of look at what you really think you realistically can do by pushing yourself some, but not way too much, because then you set yourself up for failure. So you might want to sit down with some people who love you, or some co-workers, or some professionals in the same area, maybe even a team of friends that you can collaborate with or work with, and maybe meet once a month or something like that, to help you figure out what are good numbers, what are good ways to achieve that will give you success. All right, and then you also want to keep in mind that you're not necessarily always going to reach every single goal at the level that you've set for yourself, but you will be higher than you would have been had you not set that goal. So let's say you wanted to, for example, sell 500 of an item, and maybe you sold 450, but the previous year you only sold 300. So it's still success. So be careful, be loving to yourself, and be realistic and not setting your goals way too high. Okay, you guys, the last thing, number 5, is giving up. Goals can be really hard to reach, even when you've done everything that you were supposed to do, even though you've been tracking. Maybe you get to July, for example, and you're not as far along on your goal as you would have liked to have been. Don't quit. Don't give up. There are still 6 months left in the year. If you're 9 months in, don't quit. Don't give up. The opera isn't over until the fat lady sings. You will not believe sometimes how things can really pull through in the end. And maybe you need to make some adjustments. And if you do recognize that throughout the year, then make those, but don't give up. Keep pushing yourself. For example, I was trying to reach a certain goal for my Instagram account, and it seemed like I could not progress. I would get, in fact, one month I think I lost like 27 followers all in one day, and I was like, what in the world happened? And then I would get a few, and then I lose several, and I felt like, oh gosh, for some reason I can't reach this goal. I can't do it. And then I just had to change my mindset and say, you know what, the year is not over. I'm going to keep pushing. I'm going to keep trying to do the things that I need to do. There's some things I need to do a little bit more of, and I'm going to try to do that. And lo and behold, I exceeded my goal. And so I'm very grateful for that. So don't give up. If you give up, then there's no chance for you to win it. You can do this. And remember, even if you fall short at the end of the year, you will feel so good at how far you have progressed and how far things have become, because you would have been so much further behind had you not tried and not kept pushing. Anything worth succeeding at is going to require a lot, but you will feel so good about pushing and believing if you don't give up. Well, thank you guys so much for watching today's video. I hope it encouraged you, and I hope you will share it with friends and family. So if you did enjoy today's video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. All of my subscribers get an additional discount from my Organized Planner Chic Etsy shop, and that discount is in the description below. And there in my shop, I make traveler's notebooks, traveler's notebook accessories. I make bullet journal printables and printable stickers, journaling cards, and also products for Fauxbonichis. And check out my Facebook groups. I have 2. The one that's for everyone around the world is called Organized Planner Chic Crew, and there we do some giveaways and exchanges, and then in person, I have a local one called Phoenix Planner Friends for Christ, and there we meet once a month in person with lots of planner fun. Follow me on Instagram at Organized Planner Chic, and if you're interested in supporting me on Patreon, go to patreon.com/organizedplannerchic. And until next time, happy planning!